Good morning. Good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful week. It's gorgeous here in Iowa. Hopefully you guys can come see us soon if you're not coming to Stamp Joy. It's beautiful here in Iowa. I think it's probably my favorite time of year. Let me see if anyone else is joining me today. Grab my comments. Good morning, Rachel. So you're quick. And Marilyn and Sue, and good morning. Thanks for joining us. It is Redmond, Washington. I bet it's beautiful, getting beautiful there too. Michigan, you too. Colorado. My husband was just in Colorado this week. I love fall. I just don't love what follows fall, right? I hope you're all having a wonderful week. I hope you've gotten in on our promotion that's going on. We've been talking about mini slims this week. I have to admit, I was one of those that didn't like jump on it right away. I just thought this is different. I don't know how to cut my paper. Just remember your total end game is 3.5 by 6. That's what your card front panel is. So good morning. Hello, Peggy from Louisiana and Wisconsin. Good morning. And Texas. Wow. And Saylorville Campground. That sounds like fun. And sunny New York. Wow, there's lots of you all joining me today. Thanks. But mini slims at first I was like, I don't know. I felt like the real estate was like, as far as what room was on my card front, it's really the same. I mean, if you think about it, it's just a little bit longer and a little more narrow, so it gives you like opportunity to just have a new layout, which now that I have figured out the sizing, I think that was my biggest hang up at first, was my sizing. Now I love it because it just gives me a different look and layout, and I think my recipients go, what is this, when they get a card from me. So I kind of like that. Good morning. And Davenport, you're right here close to us. Good morning in Michigan. Over by Davenport, you guys get beautiful fall leaves too. I think that's my favorite part, and I get to do do some ink blending with leaves with you guys today. Good morning. So excited about the new mini slim dies, Rachel says. I completely agree. I might have had a few suggestions when those were being made, so I especially love them. I love just that more long, narrow look. And it is, like I said, really fun when I feel like my recipient to get it in the mail, because it's just something new and different, and what's this size, or what is this? Because it just shows up in their mailbox looking a little different. So, awesome. Oh, the Saylorville Campground, that sounds fun. 2 minutes from your house. So I always think that's the kind of camping I want to do. So I could, like, if I forget something or I want something, I'm not too far from home. That sounds like fun. Good morning. I can't wait to blend with you and show you my creations. I'm sure they've posted them online a little bit, but yeah, we're going to talk through it. So I want to remind you we're talking about the mini slim, and it's the buy one, get one on the triple slim stencils. So it's a wonderful way if there's one that you don't have, which the Paris one is brand new. Obviously all of you will not have that one. And then get an oldie but goodie to go with it. So I think the Paris mini slim is so cute. I especially love that little Vespa and all the presents, and especially the little cobblestones across the bottom. So cute. And my favorite, I heard Taylor talking about it. Now, where did I put it? I heard Taylor talking about on Tuesday what your favorite one was, and she got to share what her favorite one is. My favorite, I'm going to show you the background, is the Celebrate. This has always been my favorite. It's a birthday themed one, and there's little candles across the bottom. I'll show it to you when I flip down. But I just love the candles, the lineup of candles. I just love it. I've seen some people do some really creative things with like milestone birthdays. I think I saw someone post one time on our fan page that they did 80 candles and they were all lined up. I thought it was so cute. So don't forget about that. That goes until, well, obviously while supplies last. So if you want, I'd get it now before your favorite or the one you're after is out of stock. But that goes until we start the next new promotion, which would be next Tuesday at 9 a.m. But I always say just get it done by Monday night. Then you don't have to worry about a deadline. Or I really would encourage you, if there's something you want you don't have, just to do it now, because you would hate for it to be out of stock and then you missed out. So we will talk about mini slims today. So thanks for joining me. Let me get you switched down so you can join me. See what I am working on today. There we go. These are the cards I'm going to make. When I say I love fall, I really do love fall so much. When I was in college, one of my favorite things was Iowa State has a pretty campus, a lot of greenery, a lot of plants and trees and that kind of stuff. And that when I went to Iowa State here it's in Ames, Iowa, I loved just getting to see fall come through. It was always beautiful. They had great plants and stuff the rest of the year too. We have a lot of like cherry blossom trees and that kind of stuff too on campus, but really loved the fall just because that is my favorite. So I love with fall leaves, we can kind of use our imagination a little bit. Granted, I know certain colors go with certain leaves, but it's just kind of fun. So that's what we're going to work with today. And I'm also going to talk about some of our mini slim foilets that coordinate with some of our older products. So we will get into that. So I see someone mention spilling tea. I will. I kind of save it till the end. Let me get my card. I always put out my colors first for you guys, just because often I get the question, what colors did I use? Oops. And I didn't do a color card for us today. So layer 1 is my candy corn and sweet potato. My layer 2 of this is honey or pineapple and honey. Layer 3 is cherry and mulled wine, which I feel when you blend these together kind of gives you that red pepper cardstock color. So I did use red pepper cardstock in addition to these colors because I feel like when you use cherry pop cardstock with a little edge blend of the mulled wine, just kind of gives you that red pepper color that I love so much. And I am going to put a little mocha on this third layer, but it's also going to be in layer 4 with toffee and mocha. Because there's some acorns. We have plenty of acorns in my yard right now. I'm reminded at 2 a.m. every time one drops and hits my roof and rolls off. I don't love it so much, but they're everywhere right now, and the squirrels are busy trying to deal with them. I pick up the acorns and get them off my driveway all the time. I always think I'm going to turn my ankle. Probably not, but that always makes me nervous. So that's the layers we're going to blend. The first thing I want to show you is how I line up. If this mini slim has a foilet, but the foilets are already cut for us, which is awesome. It will make so that we don't have to cut them down like Taylor had to do on Tuesday. Either way, you have a little bit of work to do. So these, the older way, when it's already cut apart, already centered beautifully for you, you do have to take a minute to just get them all lined up. But they're all cut and ready to go for you for your next part of your project. So I'm going to start with layer 1, which is what you should do. I always remind you, say this every time, to go ahead and grab your stencils and just get them in alignment before you get started. It'll make your life easier and there'll be no whoopsie moment later. But I took all of them, found my etching, made sure it's right side up. That would be right side up. So I have the -1, -2, 3, and 4, all in the bottom left corner because that's just the way I choose to do it, whatever works for you. But make sure they're all right side up. If I forget to say this, I also want to say this ahead of time before I forget. When you go to cleaning these, this stencil is super delicate and has a lot of like pieces that can get caught. I know we love using alcohol and a microfiber cloth to clean them up. That's awesome. I will admit with this the other day, I just took it to the sink and used water and some power wash. I didn't need it right away, so it could set and dry. Just because those little pokey pieces, kind of like the microfiber cloth when you go to wipe over them. So if you do, when you're cleaning and to wipe over them, I do more of like a dab to clean them up, to clean the alcohol off of them. Just don't rub as much with that microfiber cloth because you'll catch all these little bitty delicate pieces that make this stencil so beautiful. So like I said, this is a 4-layer stencil. I'm going to grab my layer 1 to start with and we'll get this all set up. Get these kind of off to the side for us. I am going to use the glass mat or the glass board, but I'm also going to have a piece of paper. I find for me with these where they give me the alignment squares in the stencil, I really love that. So I want a piece of paper that's going to give me that alignment square that I can use, because these foilets land outside of that and they actually land inside the etching that goes around your cardstock, which makes each of these 3 3¼ by 5 3/4. Like I said, the front of a mini slim is 6 by 3½. If you get that in your mind, it's easy to think, okay, 6, 3½ plus 3½ is 7. That's a card base size that I need to score it. But just the front is 6 by 3½. If you get that in your head, it'll be easy then from then on to remember the sizing of mini slims. So we'll go ahead, this first one, so these foilets that we have already done for you that match the falling for you, they have, the edge of them is already cut down that 1/4 inch. So it will line up with that outer edge all the way around this stencil. So let me go back. I always like to start with my middle one. I don't know why I do that. You could start with the end one. I do it mainly because I want to be able to tape it and have everything held in place. Sorry, I'm double checking that I'm not missing anything. I agree. I love that the cooler weather is coming too. Favor, if you have a question for me, I could still miss them. Make sure you write question, then I don't know if I'm missing something along the line. If you write question first, I'll make sure I try to snap what you're saying. But I agree. Some of these, I don't use a microfiber cloth for cleaning. I like to use my soap and water. But if I need to move on and change colors or something, then I do try to be patient and use my alcohol and cloth just because it cleans up so much faster. Again, something that I didn't say is over here along the side of my glass board. Before I started, I went ahead and cut a bunch of teal tape down the side. I do that. That's my do something your future self will thank you for. When you go through the trouble of getting this all lined up and then you've got to get the tape. Granted, our teal tape dispenser makes that so much easier. But if I have it and ready to go, I can hold on to my piece of paper and don't have to worry about shifting it while I'm grabbing tape. So I have a bunch lined up. I'm going to line up through the middle. Again, my 2 edges will follow. And then this piece has a lot of these pieces that kind of tip into the stencil and kind of break up that design. Like you can see that one right there. Right there, that one coordinates right there with that piece. So this middle piece, even though it doesn't have a top to go or a bottom to go along with the sides, look at those things. Find those cues where the stencil's coming in on your design. So that looks really good. I'm going to take some tape, add it to the back. And I try not to have too much, I'll show you in a second, too much on my cardstock because I'm going to peel this off later. So let me adjust this one. I have quite a bit, if that makes any sense. I'm going to have it holding my cardstock, but I cut my pieces kind of small because I want to be able to get rid of those in a little bit. You'll see why. So double check that it didn't move on me. That looks good. So then the next one is this top one, and I can, of course, follow my etched line across the top and 2 of the sides now. This is another reason why I like to start with the middle, is just to make sure I don't have anything overlapping. I'm not getting in the way. So I can follow this outer line, but I can also follow where these lines are coming in and intersecting my stencil. So follow both things. We always say these alignments are there as to help you, but also use your eyes to make sure everything's coming together properly. Kind of feel like, there we go. Add a little tape to the back of that one. That one. I don't want to cover up my alignment squares either. If you notice, I was about ready to put down a piece of tape and I didn't want my alignment square to get covered because I want to be able to mark that off. Okay, so last one. And it doesn't take this long. I'm just trying to take my time and show you where things land and how to take your time to position them. So again, I can follow the alignment across the bottom. And there is some places, like especially where the leaf tips in, that should be close to the spine of my leaf, obviously. Let's shift this one up just a smidge. All right, that looks good. I can see right there that there's where this leaf is coming in, it should have a break. Part of my problem is I can't get my head right over top. So looking at that, I've got this coming up, that coming up. That looks really good. So I can tape those on the back. I feel like it just moved. Yep, sure did. Sometimes when I flip it over, that's why I try to just use it one-handed, adding the tape on the back. It moved just ever so slightly on me. But I've got the tape in place now, so that's good. All right. Now I'm fighting with the tape. That's why I want to get rid of it later, because it'll be in my way. There we go. That was easier to get it back in place. Okay. So once I have that, they're all stuck there. I want to be able to either adhere this to my glass board if that's what you would like to do. Or for me, I want to put it on paper because I would like to mark off those alignment squares. So I just grab a piece of scrap paper. This happens to be one of our grid sheets that I cut down. Completely up to you what you'd like to do. I just like being able to mark those squares. So I'm going to take that once I have this glued down, or I use some of our temporary tape runner, I can get rid of it. Up to you if you want to take that off. I just want later, I'll use those for the next layers of stencils, and it just makes it so I don't have to worry about that tape grabbing. So this is a personal thing. It just makes it, I feel like, easier later to not have my layer 2 and layer 3 grabbing at my stencil as I'm moving along. So, and I'll use them. We'll keep them. Just getting them out of my way. But as long as I have this, all these pieces should stay in place. And I'll grab a little tape, put that there. And you can cut this off too if you want. I have done that. Completely up to you, personal preference. I'm going to grab my pencil and we're going to mark off our alignment squares. I love having a mechanical pencil because I get perfect square markings. The other cool part about this is that I don't have to erase it or get rid of it or cut it off, because all of those should land on whatever your background piece is. So I wanted to chat with you today about brushes. I know we have so many different brushes at TE. We have our regular ones that we started with. So they come in the pastel or the full rainbow original colors. These are, I consider the regular, the original OG of our brushes. Then we also have the bitty brushes and the detail brushes. And that's kind of basically the way they land. If you have one of these, great. I can give you tips on getting detailed stuff with even the bigger brushes. But I do like having an assortment, especially if you just keep reds in one color and yellows or on one brush. That way you can move and get kind of that blend. I feel like you can blend and things can look flat, or you can blend and give things life and dimension. And a lot of times that comes into play with how heavy-handed you're going, how saturated your brush is, and what size brush you're using. So a bigger brush is going to cover a large surface, and it's kind of going to put down a lighter color. If you come in with one of these, the possibility of getting a more saturated ink in one area with a detail brush is a lot easier. But you also don't want to grab a detail and do a large area. So they each have their own place and their own use, I feel like. I like a mixture of both, so that's what I did today. I kind of have a mixture of different ones. And I'll talk about, if you don't have a collection of all the different sizes like we do here at the studio, no big deal. There are tips. So for this layer, my layer 1, I'm using candy corn and sweet potato pie. And oh, my lid's kind of stuck. This, I want the whole thing to be covered in candy corn. No heavier handed or lighter handed. I just want to cover the whole thing. So when I load up my brush, which this is a new brush, it's quite nice. I love it. It's always a treat, right? It's like getting a new, I don't know, plates or dishes at home, or a new pillow or new sheets. It's always nice just to have something new every once in a while. We got some new brushes here at the office. We use them a lot though. So when I apply my ink, I use, if you've noticed, I use the circular motion, clockwise, counterclockwise. I know I talk about this all the time. When I load up my brush, I either swipe or use a circular motion, depending on how patient I'm being. But then that's when I load up my brush. But when I put it down to paper, I always try to do one dab off. That's why I still like having my glass board around, because I will come back and grab this. And then I go clockwise, counterclockwise to lay down that color. You can also dab off your brush if you have an empty spot on your stencil, because I just liked always being able to go back and grab that ink and blend it around. Usually what's setting here or on my stencil is already a lower saturation, so I don't have to worry about having harsh circles or spots. So again, circular motions. I do, and forgive me to any hygienist that might be listening, the toothbrush motion also, when I'm finishing up trying to get any ink that I see off of my panel. I know that's not how you brush your teeth, but I don't know what else to call it. Just side to side, I guess. But swirling, circular is my main way I go about it. Then, I think I like my saturation going on here. This is where if I wanted something deeper and I wanted to give these leaves some dimension, something I will do is grab, I can either use the same candy corn and use the tiptoe, I call it, of my brush, and ink blend down at where I want it to be saturated heavier, which for me, I'm just going to pick on most of these leaves the base. No reason why, it's just what works best for me. So I know it says mini slim, but are these are mini slim. Sorry, thank you for writing question, that helps me. These are mini slim, so they are the foilets for the Falling For You, and they're already cut down to 3 1/4 by 5 3/4. So mini slim. Total size though is 6 by 3 3/4. If you're talking about what the actual card base size is. So you can come in and just, like I said, kind of tiptoe. Can you see how I kind of have my brush up on its, like if this is the paper, I kind of go like that. And I can get, you can already see a more concentrated candy corn. Another thought, or another way to go about it, is to grab a darker color that coordinates. So I'm gonna grab Sweet Potato Pie. And I say that, but Jill has taught me that you can layer any colors and get fun new saturations and new blends and that kind of stuff. So if you're adventurous, do it. I am still learning how to blend my colors and get something that I like. I don't want to end up with mud. So I'm going to tap off. This is one of our detail brushes. You could use a smaller brush like this also, either one. And then I will load that up. The detail brushes just really give me the opportunity to really stay concentrated where I want them. But the bitty brushes will also do the same thing. I just didn't grab an orange one. I can show you with the next layer. So you can come in and just add that darker color. Can you see how much difference that's adding to the base of each of these leaves? So I went concentrated towards the bottom with the candy corn, and now also with my sweet potato pie. So I'm going to end up with almost like 3 gradients of my orange. We also have pumpkin. You could do that. Pumpkin has a little red tint to it for me, and I can let that get out of hand sometimes. So I like just adding more of my sweet potato. Maybe I should ask. It's making me hungry. Does anyone like sweet potatoes? I love them. I don't like regular russet or whatever you call them, like the white baked potatoes that you make. I don't love them, but I love sweet potatoes so much. All right, so that gave me just some concentration down on the bottom of these. And I did pick a few berries to go a little more heavy-handed on them, just so that they just kind of have dimension. That's the biggest thing. It helps make your blend look a lot less flat. Something, if I were coming in with another color on top of this, I will sometimes take my microfiber cloth gently. If you can see where the pokey pieces lend themselves out, like this piece here is directional this way, if I go with that direction of the way the pokey piece of the stencil material goes, you can wipe over the top. I see people do this all the time. It kind of depends on what my project is and what I'm doing, whether I need to do that or not. So let's peel off this layer so we can kind of see. I like having this kind of stuck down to my glass board. So I'm going to take some tape and keep my paper in place. Not that you have to. So that is layer 1. Can you see how this is light to dark at the bottom? Set that aside. I find on the stencils too, if there is a piece that's pokey, it's more like, it's easier for me to grab it when I'm on the back side of the stencil than the front side. So let's move on to layer 2. And you know what? I'm going to cheat because I kind of want to talk about changing colors. So imagine that I've done layer 2, that's pineapple, because I have one that's all done so we don't have to do all 4 layers together. I'm going to skip. So layer 2 would have been my pineapple and honey, and that's the basic exact same blend that I just did with the oranges. So, but layer 3 is my reds, and I add just a little bit of mocha in here, and I kind of want to show you my tip on if you want to use another color on a layer. So let's get this taped down. I'm again following my alignments, guides, my squares that I marked off, but I'm also using the cues of like where this stencil comes in and tucks in with that leaf there. Down here, all of these. Just also check that you're not seeing any major spots where your stencil should be shifted. I'm going to go over just a hair. There we go. Probably shouldn't have even messed with it. I feel like I've been back in the same spot. It's not the way it goes. I'm going to grab my reds now, which is my mulled wine and my cherry pop. We're going to start with cherry pop. I am going to clean up this spot where I've been blending or knocking down some of my ink. So let's grab a big brush again because I want cherry pop over the whole thing. And cherry pop isn't really the color I'm going for. I'm kind of going for a color that's kind of our, oh, you guys, Jamie, sweet potato fries with ranch dressing. Yes, yes. I don't even love ranch that much, but that is great. You can take this bigger brush and the cherry pop and cover the whole area. I'm going to probably show you both ways. For this one, I am going to just do cherry pop on this top quadrant, or this top section. I don't have 4, I guess. All with a big brush. You could use one of the reasons, like you might ask, why do I use a big brush over this one? If you ever struggle with little circle spots or it just doesn't look evenly blended, you might be a person who is kind of heavy-handed, and the bigger brushes will be a little bit better for you because it's just easier, as long as you're tapping off, to come in and add that color without being so concentrated with the area that a small brush like this is. Does that make sense? This one's going to just kind of spread the ink out, give you a little bit more area. So this works great too. I could have absolutely gone into the cherry pop with this. And what I was going to say is what I'm trying to get at is more of a red pepper color, which red pepper has been impossible for us to match for ink, and it's so close to cherry pop. If you just add a little bit of mulled wine to it, you have red pepper. So keep that in mind. And then I'm going to blend all these leaves. So this is the time for this layer that I would rather have the bitty brushes, because see these acorns in here? They're fine. Brown will go over top of red easily. Like I just hit that one. But if I just want to avoid them, this smaller brush will be very helpful for that. So I will get part of it, but later on we're gonna grab one of the detail ones to make those acorns brown. Kind of blend the two colors together. So it's no big deal if I hit them, because mocha, which is what I'm gonna use, will cover up some of that area. So that's why I wanted to show you this layer. You guys are talking about sweet potatoes. Anything, yes. Maple syrup, pecans, yes. Butter, cinnamon, I'm in. I don't know why I started thinking about it fall, because I can have a sweet potato any time of year. But I think it's probably the Thanksgiving coming up. Yum. I love it that we're all on the same. And I hear, I don't know if any of you are nutritionists out there, they're good for you. So I'm sure the butter and the brown sugar and the pecans I like to put on top, probably not, it's probably taking that down a smidge, but I love it. All right, just hitting the red, trying to avoid some of these. This one I don't have to really avoid anything. I'm going to add a little brown to these seed pods that are up in here. Mocha as it is, I keep calling it brown, but mocha. It's ink blend. I'm just trying now to just pick up some of this ink that's on here. So then I will take my detail brush and grab the mulled wine. And here at the office, we have all of these little brushes. Let me grab, I didn't grab my mulled wine. Luckily, it's right here. The detail brushes. Make sure you do really tap off with those detail brushes, because they will leave just a perfect circle if you're not careful about how you come in with them. The detail brush then lets me just concentrate there, and if I don't put down a ton, I'm gonna end up with a color that's very close to red pepper. Why buy another ink pad when you can just create it yourself, right? I'm so glad red pepper cardstock is back. That's one of those that came back a few months ago. Yeah, I love it. Now we're talking about Turkey Day. We are down the road. Oh, you guys are sweet. Thank you, Holly. I actually did get to craft this weekend. My sister, my birthday was way back in July, but she had this idea. She said, we used to get together on the weekends and she would scrapbook and I would make cards. And she's like, we haven't done that in forever. So she said, for your birthday, I want to get together and we'll do like we used to, go out to dinner and be creative with whatever. She does digital scrapbooking now. So she just brought her computer and we sat and I made Thanksgiving cards and some birthday cards, and it was just fun. I was like, you're brilliant. I'm just so glad she had the idea. I just thought she didn't really do it much anymore, so I hadn't asked her. So I had a wonderful weekend of just crafting. It was fun. And going out for yummy food, so that was awesome. Yeah. And now we're down the sweet potato fry road, there's a little place in the town where I'm at that does sweet potato fries, and then they give you, I always get the chipotle ranch to dip them in. So good. Sorry, we are down a food rabbit hole. I don't want to peel this off yet. I'm too focused on my sweet potatoes. So I put down all the red pepper and I have all these little acorn bases that I want to make a mocha color. So I am going to grab my microfiber cloth. This is dry. There's no alcohol on this. I don't have any wet areas on it. And I'm just going to wipe off in some of these areas that red, my mulled wine, and kind of just dab it up. And again, I'm watching my little pokey pieces on my stencil. I apologize, I don't have a better word for them. If you wipe in the direction that those pieces are going, you won't bend them. So I'm just going to try to get some of that red off the top of the stencil so that I can come in and have a true brown to the base of those. I can see I've got a little piece over here. I don't know what that was. We're gonna make it, I do think it's an acorn now that I look at it. We'll leave that alone. I just wanna get a little bit of it off. Not much, just enough that I'm not grabbing that very concentrated mulled wine and pulling it in. So just a quick little wipe, no big deal. I do want to get rid of the red that I have on my glass board. Sorry, making you hungry. I will move on. We're moving on to mocha, so we won't be talking about that anymore. So let's go, and we can take, this is the beautiful thing about these bitty brushes that I love so much, is that you can get into detailed areas. If you ever want something to be a different color, but that layer of the stencil, I didn't want all my leaves brown. I could have, but I really wanted them red. So totally a personal choice if you want to take this extra step to do this. I don't think it's a big deal because you still have to fill those areas anyway, so you would be blending anyway. Just taking that extra step of wiping it off a little bit, but at the end of this, we're gonna have 3 cards, so I feel like the extra step is worth it. All right, a little bit more mocha down here. All right, we are right, we are entering fall. I wonder, are other parts of the country full on leaves turning? If someone is more northern than we are here in Iowa, leaves are just starting to turn here. So if you are, I assume you would be starting to turn, but I don't know, based on rain and temperatures that we've had lately. We've kind of had some hot temperatures. I don't know, are your leaves turning? I just love it. I've been noticing some of our trees are dropping leaves, but I don't have any that are really turning in my neighborhood yet. So looking forward to it. It's a very cool but also humid morning here in Iowa, but I just like that the temps are down a little bit. So can you see where I went and added my mocha? And even in spots where I did have some red, it might be a little more reddish brown, but yeah. Barbara said they're turning in Seattle. That is somewhere that is on my bucket list of places to go. I just want to go to some more of the northern states, west and east coast. I mean, New York, I've been, and then Oregon I've been, but I need to go further north on both sides of the country. Central US, I've been, but Seattle, and I shouldn't say that, I've been to Seattle a long time ago for work, but I didn't see anything. I was in and out for work, and that was it. That was a lot of years ago too, so I'm sure it's very different. So again, you could go on. The 4th layer is my, or this is my 2nd layer, sorry. My 4th layer is mainly browns. And again, the same thing. I did toffee so that I could get the tops of these acorns toffee. And then came in, so this layer I did mainly with bitty brushes. And I did toffee and cinnamon. So I could get the top of the acorns to be toffee colored. And here's my finished one. And I could get some of these branches that come in here over the leaves a little darker. I went mocha. So I used toffee and mocha in that layer. So as to not bore you with showing you 4 layers, that was 2. Here it is all done. And that's with, again, the browns on the 4th layer and the yellows on the 2nd layer that I didn't show you. We will peel this off. And I already have my mink heating up. I'm going to, we're going to foil this. You could leave it. I feel like the black lines are just great on here. Leaves are starting to turn in Michigan. Ours are coming. I really do. We've had a dry week. We're going into a very rainy stretch here, but I bet you don't get fall colors in Houston. None at all. Huh. Interesting. Well, I need to go to Seattle, it sounds like. So being as I do have that tape runner on the back, this is sticking a little, but no big deal. That's the back of my cards. Peel that off. You can either take leave it, which is no big deal, or we can use one of our adhesive removers, or even this stuff is so easy that you can just run it over it with your finger and it'll come right back up. So there we go. We can run these through. Let's grab, I chose gold. I think the champagne would be beautiful. Our rose gold would be beautiful. There's lots of different colors you could use. And being these are 6 inches wide, or yeah, wide. I can cut them all down at about 3.5. Pro tip for you with foil, the best way is to use scissors that have a long blade to them and are not sticky. I took our blades that we have here in the office. They always seem to end up sticky. So I did already take that microfiber cloth, which has turned into a best friend here in that and alcohol in the office to clean off the blade. All I do is I take the microfiber cloth, spray a little alcohol on there, and then I wipe it. Just be very careful. It's obviously a blade, but that will get you take off the sticky if you have sticky from foam tape or anything else like that. But I got them all back to beautiful again. Now we'll grab our mink and bring it in here. I have it heating up. It's been heating up while we've been talking this whole time. So I do like to use a Swiffer, or if you have a cleaning cloth, TE cleaning cloth, use that. Just something to make sure there's no hairs or just bits of paper or bits of, I don't know, glitter or anything you might have around your stamp room. I've heard people say cat hair, that too. So I cut the piece down. So these lines are toner printed. You put your dull side of your foil against that with the shiny or pretty side up. Then we have our TE carrier sheet and shim, and I'll lay my cardstock on there and run that through. So it goes cardstock, or it goes your carrier open, shim, cardstock, and then foil with the pretty side up, the dull side to your toner, and run that through. I can even be wiping the other ones up while I'm waiting for that to go through. Oh, good, Lisa. It's just, I feel like that extra little bit of adding the two-tone color to it really adds a lot to your projects. When you're ink blending, there's nothing wrong with leaving it one color and it's flat. Some things that's perfect for, but if you want to add a little more dimension and life and realism, that extra bit of color does really well. I always try to let mine cool a little bit before I peel it up. So there's that one. Let's go and we'll do the next one. These I didn't do ahead of time for you. So we'll do the next one. So again, carrier sheet open, shim, cardstock, foil, pretty side up. Always put the fold of your carrier sheet in first. So there's this one. While I'm waiting for that to go through, the other thing I might do is get rid of the adhesive that's on the back of these. A staple in my stamp room is literally this stuff. I use it all the time. It's so nice for holding things in place, and it just comes up so easily. So while that's coming out and cooling, I can wipe off my last one. Get it ready to go. This one might be my favorite panel. I just love that it borders a sentiment. So pretty. So this would probably be my second favorite. I told you guys my showed you for a second, and then I put it down. I don't know where I put it. Oh, here it is. This is the one that I have had, has been a staple in my stamp room for a long time. I adore these leaves here. I have even created cards where I just get and do the candle like portion of it. So you just line it up, tape it down. You can just get the candles. I also just love the confetti. I love all three, but if I'm ever in a hurry and I just want the candles, I'll just do the candles. Easy enough. All right, last one. Well, that one's running through. We can reveal the last one. Or reveal the second one, I shouldn't say last one. Jill, mid-October before California starts to see change. I suppose with California, there's a Northern California, right? I have to preference that. So there we go. This one's so pretty too. Getting rid of the adhesive, and these pieces don't really have a ton of, they've served their actual purpose, right? We've already done it. But if any of you are fans of using the Pixie spray, that would be a great use for these because there is a lot of gold foil left on them. Up to you if you, I don't think there's a good way to reuse them in the future, like with the poly glaze sheets, but if you get into the pixie spray thing, that's a great way to go about that, using that up. All right, peel this up. There we go. Last one. All right, I am going to start with this one just because I feel like it has a little bit more explanation or notes to it, I guess, in comparison to the other two, in case we don't quite get there. And what did I do with it? I brought you all kinds of our mini slim stuff. We've always had the stitched mini slim stacklets. We added the cross stitch not that long ago. And this, and I apologize, Charlie or someone from the team downstairs, if you could tag these. I thought we had labeled them, so I had the names and I didn't grab that this morning. But this is from the release this week, and it gives you this panel and all the pieces that you could cut out, but I wanted to be able to see as much of these leaves as I can. So I didn't use the middle portions of it, but I absolutely love this frame. Isn't this beautiful? So we're gonna take that, we'll cut it out with mocha. Actually, we're cutting it out with cinnamon. I know I used mocha here, but the mocha is it's really dark. So this sentiment is done in mocha. The acorns and the sticks and stuff of this, or branches, sorry, were done in mocha, but mocha is a pretty dark color. So I had chose to just go ahead and do it with cinnamon. I felt like between the way toffee and the mocha came together with a little bit of the mulled wine that's also on that layer, that if you pick up some of that ink, it kind of looks a little cinnamon and is a little less harsh of a color. So set that aside quick. We're gonna run this through with my die cut machine. Bring that in. Thank you. Mini Slim all planned out. Nope. That is Mini Slim all planned out. One is that the right one? I can't remember. I thought Mini Slim all planned out one was the other one, but yeah. I'm probably wrong. I'm very bad at remembering names. So save all these little pieces that come out of there. You can use them for cutting leaves that we're gonna do in a minute, the fall flurry leaves, but save all these pieces for that kind of stuff. We'll set that aside. Then this other portion through the middle, I took the tweed background and I stamped it with honey on honey cardstock so that I got the tweed stamped on there, and then I just used this middle portion to die cut so that I could get a layer to put and kind of bring your eye in to rest where my sentiment's going to go, and I already did that. So just to show you that piece, that's how I cut that center that out, is that I re-put it through. You could even cut it down so that you're not wasting, but that was that part. So let's get my die cut machine out of the way. I agree. I love the new Mini Slim. I just love that we've added some things to the Mini Slim line. I used my stitched Mini Slim dies all the time. And then when we came out with the cross stitch edge, loved it. So I'm just glad we have more now. So this will go on top of that. And that's why I said I wanted something, if you look at this, for your eye to land to see your sentiment. And that's where that tweed on honey came into play. So we'll grab some of our glue. I'm going to double check that I don't need to cut this down. It should be the same. Yep, looks good. So I have the glue press today. I finally grabbed mine to have at home this weekend because I was gluing a lot of little pieces and I love it. One thing I've been doing with my glue press is every night when I'm done is that I put the lid on it. I don't know if it'll make a difference or not, but something I'm going to try, because it's got on your glue press, it has this little spot for your lid. So at the end of the day, I just take mine and I was curious to know if I like one section better than the other. I just love that red leaf up there on the top. So I'm going to flip it. It wouldn't matter either which way, whichever way you want to go. I'm going to make sure that's lined up. Scooch that down just a hair. You can see that I'm nice and centered. Okay, and then through the section through the middle, I can add a little more glue there also. Kind of makes me sad to cover it up, but I suppose you could have taken the dies that come in that set. That would have been cool, I guess. I can't do it now because I've put glue down. Suppose you could have cut that out, like if you wanted to add it to the center of your card, because I'm just gluing over top of it and covering it up. They are so pretty. So again, this is honey cardstock stamped with honey ink on tweed. And that just gives us a spot to kind of land our eye. Okay, and then the sentiment, you could do whatever you wanted. I adore this. I especially just love this. Granted, I couldn't find a spot to use my favorite saying. Barbara's saying, putting the lid on the glue press seems to make a difference. I guess in my mind, I'm just thinking the air that's possibly getting in there, because you can always unplug it if the end gets dry. But I'm like, what kind of air is also getting into my bottle while it's just sitting there? So it's just something I've been trying. We'll see if I can make it to the end of the bottle successfully. So Gail says she does the same thing. It helps. Good. Okay. We'll keep trying it. But I love this sentiment, all for autumn. It was from last year. There's so many good sayings in there. Even this birthday wishes, which my mom has her birthday this weekend, is perfect for, she's obsessed with leaves just like I am and fall color. So that is a wonderful just spot for your eye to land and brings everything in. Sorry, someone else was saying how much they like the honey in there. So this sentiment set is good. It doesn't have to be just autumn. I know in the title it's all for autumn, but sending you happy hello, thanks so much, grateful for you, birthday wishes, those go all year round. The autumn blessing and then the beautiful saying, autumn is a second spring when every leaf is a flower. That might tend itself towards a specific time of year, but the rest of the set, I just love the font and I think it's beautiful. So this one I've already taken a thanks so very much. I stamped it with Mocha, let that dry, cleaned my stamp, left everything in place in the Misty, and then stamped it again with VersaFine. Of course, powdered it first, stamped it with VersaFine, and then clear embossed it. So I had a shiny Mocha sentiment. And I did cut it out and cut out 2 layers and stack them up. So I had some dimension to that. I don't know, can you see it on this one? I think it just adds something to the card. So I added a little bit there. So let's add these and then we'll come in. I'm not gonna totally glue down the edge of my sentiment here just because I wanna be able to tuck a few of these leaves in. So behind the edge of the T and the S, I'm not going to fully glue that down. Line that up. You can use one of your magnets to hold it in place while it dries. Then I went ahead of time and I took our fall Flurry die and I cut them out several times in different colors cardstock. I did sweet potato, I did candy corn, I did cherry or red pepper, sorry. I went ahead and grabbed my red pepper because I like that one so much. And then I'm going to take just whatever ink is left on my brush and kind of give those edges just a little bit more color. If you find you don't have any color, go ahead, grab your ink pad. I was just trying to be easy, just to add a little color to the edge of these. And then I'm gonna add candy corn and just grab several of these out so that I'm ready to go. Get down towards the bottom. There's for the bottom. We can use whatever little bits left on my brush for the sweet potato pie. You can even take, if you're very light with your hand, you can take your mocha brush just to give your edges just a little bit of color, whichever, or reload your brush with color, with ink. Then we'll glue those down. Just gives it a little more dimension and life. I always need my pick and place tool. It's my favorite little handy thing. Let's grab some glue, and being as I know where I'm going with this one, I might just go ahead and add the glue over here. I can scooch it in place. Just gonna slide that under. Being as I didn't glue that down fully, I can tuck my leaf in right where I want it. Put my magnet down. I'll grab a little bit of glue for this side. Tuck this. And the good part about using liquid glue is it's going to give me a minute to like place that and wiggle things around. Not a minute, how about like 10 seconds maybe. Just kind of move things, wiggle it into place. Then while I'm here, also, I'm going to get the bottom and add some of those gold drip drops. Okay, we're almost at 11 o'clock. I'm just going to walk you through the last two cards so we can talk about what I did, what I used. There we go, move that. Then, again, I always say if I fuss, we'll be here for a while. So I'm just going to follow where I put my little gold glitter drops, which are my absolute favorite. I don't know about you guys. Gold glitter drops are my favorite thing. I use them all the time. Ask Taylor. If anyone is coming to Stamp Joy in person, you will see that it is a love of ours here in the office. Also, we use it a lot. My pick and place tool to pick them up. I'm trying to function without my glasses. Not good, right? Thank you. You guys are so sweet with your comments. You love my cards. I feel like they're very simple. I think what makes them beautiful is that extra time that we took to blend, or I took to blend. So if you try, I think that's the big thing. That I'm just following the stencil lines, obviously. I'm not recreating anything, but I think the biggest thing to remember is to add that little bit of spice and depth and dimension to each layer by adding that little bit of extra blend. And I wanted to go over the brushes that make that possible or easier. You can still go ahead and do the tiptoe of your brushes. That works too. So let's get this out of the way and this out of the way. Let me talk about, so that's this one, slightly different. I went ahead and I layered this one on a piece of, I don't know about you, some people really like, a preference for people is to have their card base on the inside be white. So if that's what you want to do, and especially beings with our mini slims, did you know our mini slims card bases, I believe I heard, are part of our just sale for the month where they're 10% off. So if you need to stock up on any of our mini slim card bases, do that. The top folds I can't make at home because I have 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and you need this to be 12 inches long to make the top fold portion. You can side fold, you could do on your own, but I think card bases pre-cut are one of the nicest little perks that you can give yourself in your stamp room. They're cut, they're scored, ready to go. So what I do is take a 3.5 by 6 panel and I just adhere it to the front of my top fold card base. So this is sweet potato pie, and that way I can have that, but also have the inside of my card white. Grab some foam just to pop this up. And then we'll walk through the other couple of cards before I let you go. Oh, before I spill tea. We've got to spill the tea, right? All right, and I won't bore you with peeling this all off like I do. Sneak my fingers in there, but I like to get this in place before it all catches and glues down. That foam tape, man, it is cement once it's down. But then I just reach in, if you guys seen me do this many times. Just making sure I'm not missing you guys. You'll add it, she's adding something to her Christmas wish list. I need some. Are we doing that already? Christmas wish lists? Wow. I'm not ready. I said we need to get past Halloween first. Spill the mocha. I love it, Stacy says. Okay, let me kind of walk you through some of this other stuff that I did. I used that same sentiment set on all my cards. This is from the other new die set from our release, and it has this outside frame. I went ahead and cut that with mulled wine just so that I had just a little bit of extra something going on the outside. Do you see that? So it gave this border. So I put that down first, and then on top of that, I used our mini slim thin frame. I cut that out of gold foil cardstock, TE gold foil cardstock, and I used the one that fit here on this one and the little bit smaller one for this one. That's the frame that I used. And then I used the cross stitch, also this same frame. I also did the sweet potato pie. That is my base. So I took the mini slim card base, happens to be the side fold, and I put that down first. And then on top of that, I put the panel with our cross stitch mini slim dies on top. So that was the additions to those. Those just had our sentiments, kind of did more of like a drop shadow where I didn't fully line it up, kind of offset it a little bit to add those. And then obviously my gold glitter drops that I love so much. So that's kind of some of the products I used for that. So I love the idea of spilling mocha because I did mocha, and this is tea time, but let's call it mocha time, right? Are you ready? So join Taylor at 10 o'clock on Tuesday and see what she has in store of all the pretty things that are coming on Tuesday. So don't forget that the BOGO ends on, I'm just going to say Monday night. You do have a little time Tuesday morning, but we're going to say Monday night. But do it now if you don't want to miss out on anything. And then they will have a live on Saturday, for you to see and get some of the sneak peeks of what's coming on Tuesday. And then join Taylor on Tuesday at 10 a.m. So I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for joining me.